And all that said, with what is probably a vanilla offense, and that was broken up by Jamar Wall, who jumped the route and almost had an interception.
But yeah, I mean, this is a very, very important game for Travis Lulay, and he got a great reception from the fans who knows just how great he's been for this organization. An MOP, a Grey Cup MVP.
7 years here, and maybe counting. Ferris punts, Guy Dawson on the run. Great tackle, and he is tackled around the 27-yard line. Good tackle by Darius Lane, who's a little slow to get up. Is it going to be the final? Well, so much talk about Travis Lulay and what the future holds as a free agent. We asked him yesterday if he thinks about this being his last game here.
You just never know. You don't know what the future holds. Yeah, that possibility is always there. And I know, you know, being a free agent at the end of the year, maybe you think about those things more, but really my focus, my goal has been, you know, helping this 2015 be the team, be the best that we can be. And so I really hadn't lost any sleep over that kind of thought. So, but you do. You realize that every single opportunity being out there is a precious opportunity, and you want to make the most of it.
I think so far he's doing that and proving that he can make all the throws and is going to be ready and available if needed. But take nothing away from what Jonathan Jennings has done over the last 6 games. He will be the starter in the semifinal, and he's earned the right to start in that game. He's got this crowd and his fan base very excited. Well, the possibility of an upset in that semifinal against the Calgary Stampeders.
That's some short game. Jonathan Jennings will start next week in the Western Semi. First playoff start.
You take a look at the last 6 games. Jonathan Jennings has been the most efficient quarterback. That's quarterback efficiency rating, which calculates all their numbers, and top is 153 or something like that, but he's been the #1 quarterback in the league over the last 6 weeks when it comes to quarterback efficiency rating.
Connecting with Greg Wilson, a first down up over the 40-yard line.
So you got Jonathan Jennings, who will start, and is really what we're seeing here in BC is a bit of a changing of the guard. And Bo Levi Mitchell, of course, will start for the Calgary Stampeders in the semifinal. And when you talk about Bo and his season, the nominee for Outstanding Player of the Calgary Stampeders, I think he's got a bit of a chip on his shoulder going into this playoff round, because people talked about Mike Riley, they talked about Henry Burris, talked about Zach Collaros at the beginning of the year. Not much talk about the defending champion.
That's it out of the backfield, and Araki around the ankles brings him down at the 46. Give Messam 6. Are you surprised 33 still in the game?
Well, you know, not really, only because that John Hufnagel said yesterday that probably into the 3rd quarter, if he doesn't have the title by the 4th quarter, then we'll think about it. But you got to start thinking about it as soon as you can, because you don't want anyone to get nicked. They're not sure on John Cornish. A possibility, as Farhan mentioned in the first half, that Cornish will be ready for the playoff game, but maybe not. And they'll need Messam if he's not.
59 yards back, throwing here, and the pass complete, close to a first down. Lacombo brings down Greg Wilson at the 51-yard line, and that is enough to move the chains.
But again, this is good reps and a good game for Drew Tate. I mean, Drew Tate has just proven again to John Hufnagel. He's always been maybe one of the best backups in Canadian Football League, but he's proving again to Hufnagel that if something were to happen in the 1st quarter to Bo Levi Mitchell, they can feel confident that Drew Tate can get it done. He's at 85%.
First down, Tate to the air again. Gonna air it out. Going deep for Parker again. And this time, it looks like it's intercepted, although they're fighting over the football. Who are they going to give it to?
Simultaneous goes to the offense. A tie goes to the offense.
And they are ruling that way. And it looked like Cord Parks had the football, and Parker might have just been hanging on. And well, let's take another look.
Well, Cord Parks had inside position. That's why it looked like he had that ball initially, but
the ruling on the field is a simultaneous catch. Ball goes to the offense. First down.
Anthony Parker got his arm underneath and in between. You see that right arm in between there, so he got a piece of the football. That is a simultaneous catch.
And that's a terrific play by the receiver to steal it back.
Anthony Parker kept the ball alive by getting his arm in there and battling for it. That becomes simultaneous, and a tie goes to the offense.
Challenging the rule on the field of simultaneous possession.
So we're getting a challenge, but from the old tie goes to the runner, in this case, tie goes to the offensive player, even though it looked like Parks had the first shot at the football, and Parker somehow grabbed possession back.
That right arm in between the hands of Parks.
After review, the ruling on the field has been confirmed by replay. So simultaneous possession. First down.
I think it's right. It's a correct call. A tough one to make, but they did it efficiently, quickly, and it was the right one because Parker kept that alive by getting the right arm in there, and they went right to the ground together. Tie goes to the offense.
So it becomes a 38-yard pass play. Parker over 100 on the day, already had a 70-yard touchdown. So his biggest game of the season. And Drew Tate ducked under a high hit. Flags fly. Tate extending the play, throwing down inside the 5, and another flag comes down. There are orange flags all over the field. I count at least 4.
This may take some time. There's flags for different reasons, and that's why it's not 4 that we're looking at the same thing.
Major foul, roughing the passer, BC 92. Pass interference, BC number 29. We'll go to point of foul, half the distance to the goal. First down, Calgary.
But the orange represents Lion penalties in that case. Lazarius Livingston.
Yeah, Lazarius Livingston with the high hit. He was where Drew Tate ducked, and that flags flew there, a couple of them. And at the other end, Stephen Clark with some interference will put the ball on the 1-yard line.
And Drew Tate shows a little mobility and escapability on this last play.
Yeah, that's a high hit around the head. That's going to be called. No question on the flag there. And then at the end there, you can see the grab. And it's Anthony Parker again.
So Moniz in and a plunge off the right side. And he's in for the touchdown. In behind top offensive lineman Spitzer Wilson for a Calgary major. Fifth touchdown of the year for Moniz.
Yeah, good push there from the O-line. Brian Moniz has been pretty good at this all year. It used to be Drew Tate's job. There's some good work to get it down on that 1-yard line. Anthony Parker with back-to-back plays.
4 catches, 122 yards on the night for Parker and a touchdown, and now Moniz plunging in. And it's a 2-touchdown lead for the Stampeders. 14 points up after Paredes splits the uprights.
University of Calgary product is stepping up his game with his opportunity to become a #1 target for Drew Tate. Anthony Parker's down here, and I'll follow him. You'll lose him for a second, and I'll show you again when he shows up how he keeps fighting back for the ball. The reason the ball is on the 1-yard line is because he doesn't quit on the play. He goes out of your screen to the right. Now he's right up here at the top, coming back, keeps working back to his quarterback, keeps working, and draws a pass interference call on Stephen Clark. After fighting with Cord Parks for the deep ball to get it set up, he gets him on the 1. So back-to-back big plays for Parker.
I'm not sure if our producer John Hines has just a great memory or Milt Stiegel got on the phone, but he reminded him of a of a play where Kelly Malvo and Milt got involved, and Malvo celebrated the interception, but the Sharpie out, and then they ruled it was a Stiegel touchdown.
So let me get this right. Milt called the truck, and he wanted to remind us. Okay, Milt, we got you on. But it's the correct call. Simultaneous catch. The tie goes to the offense.
Jack Murray Lawrence angled out around the 25-yard line and into the signage. Travis Lulay still leading the offense up. We expect to see Greg McGee as well. But in a year where we've gone so deep through the quarterbacking rosters, interesting to see Lulay and Tate productive here tonight.
Well, it's been a tough couple of years for Lulay. There's no question. His injuries and his shoulder and his knee, the latest. But I mean, you think of that 2011 year, which wasn't that long ago, Chris, that he was on top of the world, on top of the league at the position. And what a great ambassador Travis Lulay has been for Canadian football off the field.
Pressure on here. A little flip ahead to avoid the sack and make some yardage. Of course, 2011, the pinnacle of Travis Lulay's career.
And remember back to that outstanding MOP season. G. Roy Simon, as we mentioned earlier, was one of his go-to targets. Took the Lions to the Grey Cup championship. MOP, Kier Johnson involved, Grey Cup champion.
2nd and 5. Keltray with the rush, pressure on, and Lulay takes off and will take a hit from Keon Raymond, short of the first down. Eight-year veteran Keon Raymond prevents a first down.
Well, just if you want to circle a guy in the roster, and I can guarantee you right now, we're not doing the Western semifinal. We'll be doing the Eastern semifinal, but he would be a player to watch for me in a playoff game, because Keon Raymond, when the chips are down, is going to make the big play.
Raymond with a couple of interceptions of Jonathan Jennings in their last meeting. Here's Dawson. Great cover downfield. That's Adrian Clark. Out of Bishop, the rookie with a special teams tackle. Andrew Teague coming back out onto the field. Had one touchdown pass on the year coming in. A pass on August the 1st against the Alouettes. A couple here tonight, and the last touchdown drive, 7 plays, 82 yards in 3 minutes and 36 seconds.
Yeah, I mentioned 9-3 in his career as a starter coming into tonight's game. He's 3-0 against the BC Lions. Actually started 3 times against the Lions, won every game. Has a 21-7 lead in this one.
And the defense helping out Andrew Harris right now. Reddy Curran, Jason Araki there again.
Now I think I might be getting Jerome Messam out of the game.
They do have Matt Walter. We've got one more play in the 3rd quarter, and if John Hufnagel is that precise on his suggestion that if it got to the 4th quarter, it would be too late. Maybe Messam's down to his final play. 2nd and 8. Tate going deep again. Wants Lamar Durant, and a couple of strides too far. So we're done through 45 minutes. Military Appreciation Night here in Vancouver. And a good 3rd quarter for the Calgary Stampeders as Drew Tate hits Anthony Parker deep. And a couple of touchdowns for the Stamps to lead by 14. Drew Tate finally gets a start, and he has been impressive tonight, hasn't he?
Yeah, 3-0 in his career against the Lions, and this is 13th start, and a 21-7 lead, and the rushing title still held by Andrew Harris, who won't see the rest of the game, and we'll see if Jerome Messam plays in that fourth quarter. He's still behind him.
Going to see Greg McGee for BC, but in a year that's been so tough on quarterbacks, Henry Burris, the only starter to go all 18. Bo could have done it had they let him play today, but we're starting to develop some depth at quarterback around the league. Some new arms getting tested. And we'll see the southpaw Greg McGee come in the fourth quarter. Remember, John Beck was the starter for BC back in September, injured on a heavy hit he took in that game. Prior to this year, a quarterback who had figured in the win-loss of the previous 6 games, a guy by the name of Kevin Glenn, is Iannuzzi bouncing off contact and going down. Kevin Glenn had 3 consecutive starts for BC and 3 consecutive for Calgary in the head-to-head meetings prior to this season.
Yeah, there are some great young arms, and we'll see what Greg McGee can do here in the fourth quarter. Jonathan Jennings, one of them.
Looks like Jennings got clipboard duty for the entire night. He won't have that next week.
And yesterday we talked to Deron Mayo, linebacker for the Calgary Stampeders, their leader in the middle, now that Juwan Simpson has been out and injured, and he thought Jonathan Jennings, best young quarterback he's played against.
Good. So they start back at the 15-yard line. Shaq Murray-Lawrence trying to get outside. And the cutback, he's brought down quickly. That's Cameron Unko.
Great discussion with Deron Mayo yesterday, and we talked about him and what this game meant, and he hasn't played in this second half, but what it meant, and he talked about winning and keeping that bar set high. In fact, he said that, hey, I want to win no matter what it is, even if I'm playing my wife in spades. I want to win.
He's had a good year. Here's McGee, quarterback draw, and a feet first slide as a first down.
Of course, he was talking about the matchup with Jonathan Jennings and facing young Jennings in the semifinal. So, had a lot of respect for what he's done in the last 6 games. Remember, Jennings threw for 300 yards in 1 half against Winnipeg a few weeks back. The sky's the limit for number 10.
You mentioned Mayo. I'm curious to see if we'll see him in the middle or on the outside with the returning Juwan Simpson. Will Simpson be available for the Western Semi?
Great talk with Junior Turner as well about that team and that defense, and they pride themselves on team defense. The last thing I asked Mayo, I said, hey, does it bother you guys when people talk about the Edmonton defense and the Montreal defense and BC's defense coming? And both guys said, oh yeah, it bothers us. You're right.
Well, in offensive points allowed this year, that defense is number 1. Fewest touchdowns allowed, fewest rushing touchdowns allowed. Rich Stubler's guys can make their case. Here's Greg McGee. And a flag down. That pass in and under the hands of Boldevine. Offside, the call against BC will be declined.
A little bit of heat on that for Boldevine, who's only about 6 yards away from his quarterback.
Offside, BC, number 17. Penalty is declined. 3rd down.
Boy, they love Rich Stubler, too. Those guys. I asked about what they felt about their defense coordinator. I said, you know, he is a straight-up guy. If you're in a film room and you mess up, it doesn't matter who you are or how long you've been around or how many All-Stars you won. Rich Stubler will tell you, and that's really all a player wants is honesty. Tell me where I'm at and what I need to do to improve. And they have a tremendous amount of respect for their D coordinator and play hard for him, as you can see they've done all season.
Bears kick to Sky Dawson, does some dancing, and fights his way for a few extra yards up to the 39. We mentioned tonight, Sack Tallies brought to you by Purelator. Tackling a hunger, a promise we can all help deliver. Look at that total close to 1.3 million pounds raised this season. And did anybody have Ottawa topping the list in the sack attack?
And quite the margin too, 61-49. But the two winners of their divisions won in that department.
He's still in the game, and Jerome Messam dropped for a loss. TJ Lee dropping Messam behind the line of scrimmage. Ryan Moniz in at quarterback, and Drew Tate shaken up a little earlier. We were surprised he was in on the last series, and he has now gone to the Calgary dressing room.
Took some high hits, and I'm wondering if, he went back in after the hits, but as he was walking off, it looked like he may have had some issues with it, just with the neck, and something's just not quite right.
So we get Moniz on a Hawaii, and carries up around the 40-yard line, close to the original line of scrimmage at 2 and out. On his first series, just 1 2 and out last week for Calgary.
10,000 yards passing in the University of Hawaii, and all of that on his resume with the 75 touchdowns doesn't mean anything to Dave Dickinson right now. After what he thinks should have been a completed pass down the field, had some stern words to Ryan Moniz. His first 2 plays said, "You got to be ready to play, son. Let's go."
Line drive boot. Iannuzzi sidesteps the first wave, and up over the 40, gets a block, and now dragged down by Otko at the 45-yard line. Just shy of the 5-minute mark here in the fourth quarter from beautiful BC Place in Vancouver.